We're going to talk about the budget because the budget's been released today and I've got a bit of an issue with some of it. 25 billion is being taken out of businesses in the UK.
Well, if we've got an agency we're paying X amount to, can we do this ourselves? It sometimes just feels like it's one thing after another, doesn't it?
James running up a very tall mountain.
I've had to climb up some pieces.
No way.
Welcome to the Fake Marks, everybody. We are on episode
75.
Are we 75, are we?
Pretty sure, yeah.
I think we are. Yeah, actually, it might be even 76 because I think I saw a 75 come.
75.
Oh.
Nice. So episode 75 of us talking nonsense on a Thursday. So here we are. I'm, as you know, away in España. Well, a territory of Spain. We're in in Lanzarote.
Yeah, looks very nice also. I'm in my clinic. I've brought the podcast to the actual clinic. And Michael's sitting on the sofa. That sofa behind you, like, it fits in perfectly with you though. If you sat on that, are you back yet? Oh yeah, there you are.
Right. Anyway, because we're not doing this in the office today, we're going to have to be a bit conscious of who's speaking when, because, you know, this is even nonsense. But I want to start by, we're going to talk about the budget, because the budget's been released today, and I've got a bit of an issue with some of it.
Who are you going to talk to about
but it's
it?
not as bad as everyone.
Who you can bring it up with?
Say again?
Who you can bring it up with?
What the issues I've got with the budget?
Yeah.
I worry that we absolutely no one, Nick. No one wants to know my opinion. But just quickly, while I'm here, so I want to tell you about a bit of marketing that I think if someone wants to take this on in Spain, probably not in the UK because it's not a big enough market. So obviously, when you come to these countries, there's a lot of cockroaches, and you have these exterminators. Okay, and I've found the perfect name for a cockroach exterminator. The cock block.
Cock block. Isn't there already something called created for a cock block?
Well, a cock block would be when you're trying to get with someone and vice versa, and someone then sort of blocks you.
Yeah.
That's what a cock block is. But I thought cockroach, blocking the cockroach is cock block.
Yeah. You're in your little van, your pest control.
Yeah. Cock block.
I don't think anyone's used it. I just googled it, so free that.
There you go. Free bit of value for someone.
Have you seen the
and also, say again.
Have you seen the cockroach on holiday?
I've seen one.
Where was it? It wasn't in your room, was it?
No, on the road outside.
Oh, horrible things, aren't they?
Yeah, they're right.
Apparently,
anyway,
nuclear bomb.
It can. And no head either. I think they can survive with no head.
Yeah. So anyway, the budget. I haven't looked at it today. Too many patients.
But before I go on to that, Michael, do you want to explain to the listeners what we've been doing for the last 24 hours while I've been away?
Pandemonium. Chaos. So James saw a post from James Watt of co-founder Brewdog fame on LinkedIn, who was looking for unicorn businesses to invest in. James saw this at about 10:30, and then from then for like the next 4 hours we were frantically planning a thing. When James first saw it, I thought it was just going to be James on his phone in Lanzarote, just being like, "Hey, my name's James. This is Rupert. Da, da, da. Easy, done." It then expanded from there to what it is now, which is James running up a very tall mountain with a little pink backpack on, explaining what Rupert is and why you should invest.
Have you done the run? You've done the pitch. You've done the run.
I did it this morning, Nick, and to say that I was underprepared would be an understatement. So bear in mind, I only brought some really old running trainers with me because I thought the only bit I'll do is along the coast or some of the gravel bits. So I'll just bring some out there. So this mountain is what it suggests. It's a mountain. So it's 562 meters high. I got about 300 meters up and went, I've had to climb up some pieces. Like I've actually had to climb up some of it.
I thought you went up it the other day, or is this a different one?
No, that was a different one. That was a smaller one. So that was his little sister next door. That was about 290. This one's double that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So it was. So yeah, I did this morning. I got up it, but I'll be honest, coming down it was a bit dicey. So I've cut my hand open because I was literally like falling down some of it. It was just ridiculous.
Did you think it wasn't the best idea at those points?
When I got lost going up, because I had my sunglasses on, I veered off left, and then when I was scrambling a bit too much, going, this isn't the normal trail. So I went back on myself and then got myself back on the actual trail it was. But it was that bad, to give you an idea. I've had to throw my trainers away because it cut up all the bottom of my soles.
No way. Jesus, because it's like slate, yeah? Like, isn't it? Like
It's
the
rock.
rock,
Yeah,
it's sharp rock.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, I didn't know
I
about
did it.
I didn't know about any of this. I just got the videos and was like, yeah, they look good.
Oh, it was really hard. Like, it was tough.
What time do you get?
To be fair, I didn't need to take a backpack really. I know I didn't, but I know it looked good for effect. If I'm being really honest, just to grab his attention. So
Yeah. And do you think the video will come out well?
Michael,
I sent you a little clip of what I'd done so far on WhatsApp. I don't know if you'd looked at that.
no, not yet. I'm looking forward to it though.
Yeah, because we only had a max of 15 seconds, so we had to try and get all of the explaining what it is, doing the points, get to the top, all in 15 seconds. But I think what we've got works.
That's quick.
And also, yeah, no, 15 seconds. It's not a lot of time, and he was really specific with no more, no less. It's got to be 15 seconds.
Yeah. Wow.
But we never know, do you? Never know, do you? But what's interesting is, obviously, I put that post on LinkedIn. By the way, we'll talk about the LinkedIn algorithm another day because I just don't get it. Basically, I've conceded to. I just do not understand it at all. But I put a post out about it, and then someone's email going, "I'm actually with James Watt at a small intimate event next week. There's only 30 of us. I'll mention you."
Oh, yeah. Wow.
How cool is that?
Did you see the guy who climbed the mountain to do the pitch? Basically.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
And I actually went and bought a unicorn. So what I did is, I bought a unicorn, that Nick, which you might be able to see that one. There you go. I bought an actual unicorn to take up with me.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Like it. Get very creative.
Yeah, there you go.
Very creative. Good.
I love when I text Michael because I know I've got what in my head what I've got, and then I ask Michael then to like give me an idea, and they're never as good.
Michael's good with me today. We did a bit of content filming, didn't we?
We did.
For a client, which was quite funny.
Nice. Right then, the budget. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, what's the crack then?
So I won't go into too much detail because obviously we don't we don't go into too much detail. But essentially, the bones of it is 25 billion is being taken out of business or businesses in the UK, where through increased national insurance and other means. Now, although that won't affect, I think it's something like 69% of businesses because they still come under the threshold. My issue is a lot of those smaller businesses are fed by the mid-market ones, the ones that this budget will affect.
Yeah.
So if you think 25 billion has been essentially ripped out of the economy to go into things like the NHS, really good causes which we know in the economy we need. My sort of question to pose is, if you look at some of your clients, Nick, especially the mid-market ones, what happens when they're losing 200, or let's say just say it's 100 grand a year? Where is that coming from? Because from our experience, the first thing to get killed is marketing.
Yeah, like we've seen in the last 12 months. Really, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say a few of the companies we've lost has been down to things changing. Their businesses got hurt from shipping, from all different types, but it's the marketing that they have to pull off. And they're thinking, well, if we've got an agency we're paying X amount to, can we do this ourselves? Scary.
Well, that example there with the shipping costs, I think it went from like 7,000 to get
28.
a shipment in to 20, yeah, 20 out. I know it's high 20s. That's
Unbelievable.
it's huge. But what's going to happen? It's all good and well that these smaller businesses, it's not going to impact day to day. But if it's massively going to impact their clients, there's going to be a loss of revenue, isn't there?
Yeah. Is that the only one for a business? Is it just national insurance, a business? What's happening to like VAT and corporation tax?
So VAT is sticking. Private schools, obviously, we knew it was coming. It's coming. I don't, although private schools are luxury, and you were lucky enough to put Phoenix for it. If I said to you, you sacrificed a lot to put Phoenix through that, didn't you? And
Everything.
most people do.
Yeah, a lot of people do. Spoke to one of my clients has actually put her 3 children through it, and she was saying, and she, her business is that she has a full-time job, and then she has quite a successful business on the side. That's paid for those children. She said, unless I had that, they wouldn't be going. And if I put myself in the position now where I had to put VAT on top of it, I mean, for the last couple of years how much of a struggle it was with everything. It's hard, isn't it? It's just going to be. What's the trickle down effect of the smaller businesses, what they need to take home, how much the founders are paying themselves, all sorts of things will start trickling down. And we've just had it before this, employees, looking at taking on more employees into the new year. Suddenly you start having to look at different things.
In terms of employment, it's huge, because the mad thing is it's only small numbers, but over a larger workforce, it starts making a massive difference. But the trickle down effect, if I use a company like Quartix as an example, they're very successful. They're going to get hit, with that quite hard.
Yeah.
And again, if they're losing 100 grand, 200 grand a year, whatever it may be, and we know that, like I said, most of the first thing that goes is marketing. Well, how many small businesses, and unfortunately, a lot of the small businesses are actually sort of marketing freelancer agencies. They're going to stop using them, surely, because that'll be cut, will it not?
Yeah. Well, it could, because all it takes is a couple of £100 a month to leave their budget, or a couple of £100 a month that they can't pay a freelancer or an agency. It's just, it sometimes just feels like it's one thing after another, doesn't it? For the last 5 years. It's tough. I know we're all in it together. We've been through some big things, but yeah, it's a bit of a shame it's happened this way with this budget, even though we all knew it was coming. But people, and also, James, the big rich people, they're going to leave. Pimlico Plumbers, he was on the news, he's leaving, taking his bank accounts with him. It was going to cost him $6 million. He's off.
Yeah, there's a lot of high net worth individuals that have already well, like I said, entrepreneurs relief has gone up from 10 to 14, and it'll be 18%. So if you're lucky enough, which very few are, to actually sell a business, you'll then get in charge not 18% on the sale, which is huge. If you've had a business of like we did with MIB for 15 years, and then suddenly being charged another 20% on top, it's just, for me, it just breeds. It just doesn't breed the right behaviours,
No.
because it's easy to get a job. Like I've said to you for years, it would be easier getting a job.
Yeah.
As negative as that sounds.
Yeah. But the thing is, I mean, it's the new things that are coming into place, I guess, which I've heard about is how it's protecting employees, which is, we all want to protect our employees. But the problem is there are certain things that a business needs to do sometimes. And it just feels like the business isn't being helped.
What they've changed on that is the employees' rights. So normally it's sort of, you get sort of the first year you can sort of, sort of cut ties with an employee if you don't feel that it's just working. Whereas essentially from day one, the second that contract is signed, you're liable. So there's no grace period, for either party. Then it's fine for an employee just to go, right, I'm leaving, but from an employer's perspective, you can't. You've got to go to the necessary means to.
But again, though,
which is never nice.
That's fine if you're a massive business and you're a corporate company and it's just deal with the HR department. But when you're a small business like ours and our clients and friends and people who listen to this podcast, it's a big impact. Like if someone's not doing what they need to do and they need to go, it's a loop. It's just how hard that is to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we've employed a lot of people over the last 16 years, a lot of people, and into the hundreds, especially with the call center. And gosh, if we didn't have some of the leniency that we were able to, imagine how hard that would have been. Once someone's in a contract, then we can't get rid of them, but they're actually not doing their job properly, especially at that level. Like, no disrespect to people in call centers and stuff, but there are some amazing workers and we've had some amazing people work for us. We've also had some really tragic experiences. Now, can you imagine those tragic experiences when you can't get rid of someone?
Yeah. We've had some, experiences of people taking the proverbial. But not only national insurance, obviously the minimum national minimum wage is going up across the board. I think it's from 16 to 20 now. The minimum wage is 10 quid, which is like, wow. That's for again, smaller businesses who are wanting to employ. You're going to be now looking overseas. That's why people like Fiverr and these other the platforms have done so well. I've been speaking to you about a VA or virtual assistant for your ads clinic calls.
Yeah.
Because I think it's probably a good option for you for the follow up.
Yeah. You can't.
And I spoke to someone the other week. You can't. You look at overseas. There's a guy called Richard Woods I've been put in contact with just about VAs in general. And he's got a huge portfolio over in Nigeria, and apparently they're fantastic. Reviews are, and they're 50% cheaper than you would employing. Well, it'd be more than that actually when you add in national insurance and the rest of it.
Yeah,
pay away. So so it's
we thought about it with the expansion of the ads clinic, haven't we? So I've been talking to people who are freelancers, but who have a big network of freelancers who specialize in what I do. And you actually when you start putting it down onto paper, it's kind of like, okay, as we grow the ads clinic into more doctors and surgeons other than me, we need to employ people. But then you actually start thinking, waiting for the smiles, then you actually start thinking, well, isn't it better? Yes, it might cost us a little bit more to get a freelancer and our profit margin goes slightly down on what we charge, but we haven't got any of these headaches. And I think what's come in today has probably made that clear as to it's probably the route we'd go down. Imagine I get a couple of complaints from a patient that says, oh, I just didn't get the results I wanted to, whatever. And that person, that particular doctor who's on that account is just not saying the right things and not getting the results. and they're just not into that particular role anymore. Or they might even say, Nick, I'm sick and tired of wearing a doctor's outfit and a stethoscope. I'd rather just wear my hoodie. And I've said no. How am I going to get? How am I going to get the exit?
But there'll be people willing to that aren't on the books.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you going to say? What's that? What on the books? There'll be what?
Say again.
No, what did you say about not being on the books?
Well, that you could get employees that aren't on the books to do that
Yeah. Exactly.
at a cheaper rate. So why would you? Why would you?
Yeah. You got a trendy little wristband.
Why would you?
You got a trendy little wristband there, James?
No, it's gone for all inclusive.
Oh, is that what it is? Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thought you might have trended it up and got yourself a little from the beach men.
No, lucky.
You want some Ray-Bannies? How about some bracelets?
But no, you're right. I just that budget today is just for me is just no one. Even like me with Rupert, I'm looking at it going, like support customer service, which is going to be a really important part of Rupert. Because actually, I get a lot of support emails, which is great because people are using it and the rest of it. I'm looking at it going, what benefit is it to me to having a team in Mill Street
None.
versus having them in Nigeria or wherever they're based?
Well, I'll give you an example. So lately, I use High Level. Well, we use High Level for various different things around the businesses. Go High Level, which was a two people who worked in ClickFunnels, I think, left and set up Go High Level. So I've been on a few calls because we haven't really looked at that in 3 years, but for the ads clinic, going through it, looking at the email sequences, really just getting up to date, making any amends. And I've had, I would say, in the last 2 weeks, I've probably had 5 or 6 support calls. And where they're really, really good is you can put a support call in and they'll just go on a Zoom call. You go into the Zoom waiting room and you get on a call. Now, bear in mind, this is an American company. I haven't had any Americans on the call.
What nationalities have you had, mate?
I would say Filipino and Indian.
But they've got you the desired results.
But the customer service is absolutely amazing. They're on the call. If it needs to be 20 minutes, they're on the call for 20 minutes. Every single call I've come off with a fixed solution. Perfect. It's all outsourced. You got very, very good individuals at different prices, different costs to the business.
And it's sad. Do you not think it's sad that the UK economy is again, I'm looking at this now, going, well, why would I do that in Mill Street when I can have a team in the Philippines or India or wherever?
And it can 24/7, can't it? At any point, no matter who's using Rupert around the world, they'll have support.
Michael, I'm intrigued to get your opinion on this. So, obviously, you do a lot of the content and editing for us, and which, by the way, I thoroughly enjoy it. But hearing the conversations, around the stuff that we're saying about looking at overseas and all the rest of it, from your perspective, what is it scary? Is it just reality?
I suppose I'm less from. Sorry, you go.
I was going to say you've got a very different perspective on this because you're an employee, so you're not looking at it probably to the nth degree that probably someone like myself is. But I'm intrigued from your perspective, I am intrigued.
Yeah, I think because you and Nick are both coming at it more from sort of the owner perspective, so those changes that might be good for the lower level or employees are then sort of in a backward way then bad for business. So there's probably some stuff in the budget that maybe people like me or younger people would look at and be like, oh, like, wages going up, that's good. But then the same budget, somebody else can see it and then be like, oh, actually, that wage has to be covered now by us. And suddenly it's a massive hike in expenses. And that team that we had even if we don't take on any more people, is now suddenly way more expensive. So I sort of get it from both sides. It's obviously good that younger people, especially, there'll be more incentive for them to sort of take on those probably less favorable jobs, because I think there was probably a bit where younger people were like, I don't want to take those jobs because they're paying me so low when I could go to somewhere else and get paid more. But as you say, smaller businesses, it's suddenly like a lot more expensive to get anybody. Um, yeah, it's going to be a challenge for a lot of them.
Well, our prices have to go up. People put their prices up. Things go up again. To be able to compensate, it all feeds down, doesn't it? You know, a landlord rents his house out. If someone goes up for him, he puts the rent up. It's just, and then they need more money, so they need the pay rises to help pay for the rent. It's just all the same. It's just becoming a country that's very expensive to live in. That's the thing. And you know, I love that. I love that Ty Lopez quote where he said, you want to live rich, make 100 grand in the Western world, and then move somewhere cheaper where 100 grand becomes a million."
Well, it's definitely more expensive. I know I moan about it a lot, but when you take the kids out, just for a walk on a Saturday, I refuse buying coffees at £3.20 because
Yeah.
it's just sickening.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I went to McDonald's today, and do you know why I went to McDonald's? Everyone in the office knows I went. Because a McRib came back out.
Oh,
I used to love a McRib, and I haven't had it for about 30 years. 30 years ago, James, it didn't cost me £5.19 for a McRib. So we sat there, three of us, and we moaned while we ate it.
who's the three of you?
Vicky and James.
Okay.
So, but it's just extortionate. I just can't believe how much things are. I just can't believe it. Can't believe it.
Yeah, it's not. It's not cheap. But then look at the hospitality industry. These small. Look at the high street. If a small shop wants to, open up in Leamington, and although the rates aren't as bad now, but trying to get staff in, trying to get some cheap, by cheap I mean younger staff to come in and look after the. You're not gonna be able to do it, are you, at £10 an hour?
No.
When I first started at Woolies, I was on less than £3 an hour when I was at Woolworths.
Woolworths for the ones who are too young.
What a place that was!
Yeah.
But it is. It's like it's not a good. Yeah.
But who's gonna? So as we come to the end of this podcast, who's going to jump first? We go back to one of those jump off.
It's just frustrating because you get the there's 5.1 million small businesses in the UK, including freelancers, and they employ something like, I saw the stat, I think it's 61% of employees in the UK.
Yeah.
It's huge. We are a nation of shopkeepers.
Yeah.
Little clip for you there, Michael. But no, we are, and all this is doing is, something had to change, so I get it, but there's just no support. There's absolutely no support at all. There was no relief. There's just no relief for small businesses essentially. And although this won't impact directly the vast majority, I do believe it will trickle down and it will affect those smaller businesses that are generating revenue from those larger entities, and those who this will affect. So although Rachel Reeves can sit there all day and goes, which is great, and it's not going to affect a huge proportion directly, indirectly, it absolutely is, without question. So yeah, there's my penny's worth.
There we go. People are going to listen to this podcast, turn up their meeting, crawl out the car, grunt as they walk in.
Maybe. Have you seen any marketing this week?
No.
None at all.
No. I'll go into just my little bit of that. Is my bit of marketing is the fact that I spend every single day saying to my clients, just go and make some content, just talk to camera, just make a little video with some edits and just do some text overlay. And then the nice hour and a half that Michael and I spent today of me going, oh, damn, oh, God, all right, I'll do it again. Made me realize what goes into an ad.
It's harder than it looks. I think when you think like, oh, this ad's going to be 30 seconds, you're like, oh, it can't take that long. It's like suddenly it takes like 2 hours or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So that's not the marketing I've seen, but it's me respecting the marketing.
Are you doffing your cap to Michael?
Yes, I think it's very good.
Well, I was a bit confused actually running down the mountain today. So I was listening to my podcast, which, by the way, I thoroughly enjoy, which is the Bad Friends podcast. Michael, as you know, I'm a bit of a fan, and the adverts came on, and it was in Spanish. I was like, like this. I've never, obviously, because I'm only normally listening in the UK. Yeah, had a little 2-minute load of adverts in Spanish because I was running down a Spanish mountain.
That's clever. I didn't even know they could do that. Localize them.
Yes, they localised a bit of ad there when I was running down. Obviously, didn't
Well,
understand software, but
we localized an ad today, didn't we, Michael? we put my ad into Indian and Italian, and it was actually very clever how it did it because it's my voice, but speaking Hindu.
For who?
With the Cortex video that we did, 11 Labs, which is like an AI website, they can auto like dub your thing where it like synthesizes your voice and then plays it back in whichever the language you picked. So we picked Italian.
Cortex on in.
We did it in Italian. It's not going to get used. It was more for a comical effect, just to show them.
Okay.
And the Hindu was, well, if I sound like that in Indian, I'd like to see what I sound like in Italian. I'd like to see sounds like an Indian. It was very funny.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
I look forward to seeing that. Well, thank you for coming on today.
I've got a thing that I saw. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm trying to find.
While you're trying to find it, shall I tell you what next week's episode is going to be about before I forget? So I've got a real bugbear in life at the moment. Not a little bit of a bugbear, to the point where I'm now actively making it known verbally that I'm unhappy about it. Shops. Every shop in the UK now, every single employee has a headset on, talking to their mate on another aisle. Okay? The customer service is horrendous. Every single shop, you go to the Co-op, anyone in the UK, you go in, they've got their headsets, they're speaking to the mate while they're in the back doing something. They're not even interested in it. It's so poor. And we'll discuss something another day. Even now, I'm spoiling, not thinking about it.
Go on then, Michael.
Well, I don't know if the video will play, so I'll put it on the video for people, but there was an ad for Lewitt, who seem to make microphones. I've made a new microphone called the Ray microphone, and the reason it was interesting to me is because they call it autofocus for your voice. So they have technology in it that basically will change the settings of the microphone depending on where you're positioned. So if you're close to the microphone, then when you move back, it will like boost the volume. So it's for things like podcasts or if you're doing any sort of streaming or music production, it can do that sort of thing. So their ad was just quite cool. They were showing the woman like being next to it and then moving back, speaking some more, and it stayed the exact same because of the microphone's very clever thing. So I thought it was cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Good idea.
Yeah. Right.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Well, should we wrap up?
See you next week. Yeah, that's it. See you next week, guys.